Hello, everyone. Hello, fellow humans on the internet. How are you guys today? Welcome to another stream, to another Friday. Hope you guys had a profitable week. I did. Our option ended very out of the money for us, which is very good. So I'm happy about it. We collected that 1%. Let's wait a little bit while the other people join. Hello, Erman. Hello. Hello, Dando. Welcome to the stream. Just waiting a couple of minutes for to see if more people are gonna join. As I was saying before, I had a profitable week. We already, if you're part of the Sleep Money Club, you can go and already and fill the spreadsheet that we have where we follow all the group's growth. So if you're part of the Sleep Money Club, the link is pinned in the messages for the Sleep Money Club. Hello, Funny Toro, welcome. So we can get started with this week. Yeah, let's go right ahead. Let me pull this chart right here. There you go. So if we go to portfolio, now we have $1,932 on settled. You can see that last week we got the full profit from what we sold last week. And this week, if we look both calls inputs, we still have very, very low volatility. So around 40-ish for the puts and around 35-ish for the calls right here. Excuse me. I usually take in consideration between 6 and 10% distance from the current price. So you can see we have 44, 43 right here, 35 right here. Very low. Still very low if we compare that to last week, for example. We are currently in an IV drought. We haven't seen IV this low in a long time, which sucks for us sellers. So our plan, if you are also a seller, if you're watching, you have two plans that you can follow. You either wait a little bit for a higher IV spike, and you can see that by going, for example, on the block.co, and you go to data and you go to options, and here you can find the implied volatility for Bitcoin and for Ethereum. These are projections for the 7-day, 30-day, 90 days, and 180 days period. So I usually go for the 7 or 30. The 7 is best for our weekly options that we do. So I go for these two, but you can go for longer if you're trying to buy a longer option or whatever it is that you're trying to do. So for each and every one, there's a different use case scenario. So for this week, things got tangled here. So for this week, we can see very low volatility on Ethereum and on Bitcoin. We got it went up a little bit, and now it got back down to the lower 30s, to the higher 30s, sorry, for Bitcoin and also for Ethereum itself. Not great, not great, because premiums are seeing this. So if you go to call, you can see that a 10% or even 8% premium, 8% away from the current price. We used to have like 4, maybe 4 and some cents in premium, and now we don't even have $3 in premium. So you can see how that is affecting our profitability in the long run, or in the short term, to be honest, not in the long term. So what we can do is we can get a little bit more aggressive with our options, which I don't recommend, and I recommend we just keep it low. Just like last week, we went for 1%. Maybe you can go for 1.2%. Depends. You can take a little bit of risk. But why are we trying to stay a little bit away from the price? Getting lower premiums? Well, mainly because if it goes against us, if we see a spike in volatility, and let's say you sold a call, but we have a spike in volatility towards your call, so it is going up, let's say Ethereum is going up, even if you sold a 10%, out of the money call, you will see that call going in the red, because the premiums are going to get inflated. And when this happens, let's say if you sold a position for like $4 per contract, now even though you're still out of the money, but because IV went up, now let's say this contract went up to maybe $7, maybe $7.50. So now you're in the red. You have an unrealized loss. You can close it, and then you will have that loss for sure. But you can just wait it out and wait for it to go down again. So this will be my plan personally. My plan will be to take it easy, go 10% out of the money, maybe 11. We will see right here. What do we have? By the way, if you guys have, I'm actually open a poll right here. Start a poll. What will it be for this week? And here we go with sell calls, sell puts. So you can give your own opinion here, if you would much rather sell calls or sell puts. So I'm gonna leave this right here. We're already on a 50-50, so you can see how there's a debate here in between which one is better to do. It is good to remind that this week, calendar, I think it is right here. This week we have some things happening. We have we have a couple of important data coming this week, from June 2nd to 9th. So we have right here the balance of trade. We have PMI. This one is not really that important. This one could affect things. And then only 2 weeks from now, we can have the rate decision, the FOMC. So this week, we only have the balance trade on June 7th, which is still something to keep an eye on. But so far, we have these numbers here, which is the projection. So I don't know how it will be. Usually the markets, they kind of go 50-50, or they go one way and then they go the other way by the end of the day. So I'm not sure what to expect from these data, from the data that we're going to have this week. So that this is also another thing to keep an eye on, because this might have a burst in implied volatility out of the sudden. So don't panic if you see your options going against you just for the time for that day during these news right here. So we have 67% saying that we should sell puts. Do you think we could get a pump from the Hong Kong narrative? I mean, excuse me. Usually usually these narratives, if they affect the stock market in general, they do affect crypto as well. So this is how I usually think about it. If it is a narrative that is going to affect stock markets, then it will affect crypto markets as well, just as much, because they do tend to copy those. So what I usually like to do, I like to go and look for the S&P 500 future contract to see how the market believes in the future of, for example, the S&P, or you can look at other future indexes, and then I kind of project to see if Ethereum is following the path or not. But again, it is just something that I do. I don't know how other people do this, but yeah, short answer is, if it affects the stock market, it affects crypto as well. Crypto kind of mirrors the stock market a little bit in sometimes, especially when our economic news for that sort. So let's take a look at the options here, the options grid. Let's see what we have to, what we are working with right here. One second. There we go. Let's take a look at these calls first. Let's see right here, calls. We have the 19th. Actually, we have the 2050 and we have the 2100. The 2100 is paying very little. I don't know if you guys can see it because it crops a little bit on here. Yeah, you can see it. The 140 is too little to me. Maybe this one is also, I'm not going to risk going with the delta above 10 for this week just because it is very low IV. So 35% here, ridiculously low. Excuse me. On the call side, the only one that I would go for is the 2050. So let's take a look at these puts right here. On the put side, we don't look much better, to be honest. But if we take the 1750, if we look right here, the 1750 is it is above this right here. Above this right here. So we actually had a little bit of a range right here. We could even extend this range a little bit down somewhere here, because it bounced back 3 times and almost a 4th time right here, kind of held a little bit. So this range could be a little bit bigger for support / resistance area, which we most likely are going to be able to see it on the gamma levels as well. So let's see if there's a 1700 and maybe a 1650. Let's see how that looks. The 1650 is out of the question right here. Too low of a, even though we have over 50% IV, it is too low of a premium for us. Of course, this is personal. If it is something good for you, you can just go for it. The 1700 delta 3, the 1750 delta 7 for a 363. The 1700 is, the 1750 is 756 away from the current price, and the 2050 is 8, but it is paying less. Let's take a look again right here. The 1750. Let's run the numbers here for the 1750 real quick. Let me just move the camera as usual so you guys can see what I'm doing. Maybe 5.3, or we can even go. Cannot go for the 5.3. We have to go for the 5.2 again. Wow, we cannot go for the 19 for the 5.2. We have to go for 5.1. 5.1. I have to generate the trading key, so this is why. Just generate, click right here, approve MetaMask. Okay, so okay, now I can do it. Let's try again with the 5.2. 5.2, maybe I could have done this. No, 5.2 is still too far. We can go for the 5.1 right here. So we will get 1928. Pull up our calculator right here, and we're gonna go and we divide this by 1928.31. Okay, so we make 1% just like last week. If we sell this one right here, we make 1% just like last week. This is the 1750, which has a delta of 7. So the other one must be around 0.7%, the call that we looked. The 1750 is right here. 1750 right here. Yeah, I think we're gonna go for the puts for this week. They already have a 67% votes are saying we should go for the puts. I also believe this narrative as well, because if we look, for example, for the calls, let's go right here. Let's take the same amount of money and run the numbers for the call. I'm not gonna risk the 2K because it is a 12 delta. I'm not going to risk it. If we go to the 250, the 2050 right here, 2.68. If we go for the 5.2 or 5.1? Yeah, it was 5.1. If we request a quote for 5.1 contracts, we're going to get like $14, okay? So 14 bucks for the, what was it? 1445. We'll divide this by the 1927.24. So we got 74%, a little close to what I said before. So 74% to sell the call, which is a little bit out of the money, a little bit more out of the money, but it has a lower IV, meaning that if this IV goes up to, let's say, 40, 45, 44, whatever it is, this premium will increase. So if you believe what you can do, if you believe, for example, Ethereum will go up a little bit, you can get that profit once it gets there. So you can just wait a little bit. Once it reaches that, you can just sell for a bigger premium. I don't know if that was good to understand. So let's go for the put itself. Let's run these numbers again. Premium seems to be a little bit higher, 5.1. 1929. We're gonna get a little bit above 1% now, because it was 1929 and here was 1929 as well, but now we got a little bit better requirements, lower requirements. So I think we will sell this one right here. Place the order pending. We wait a little bit. Sold. Transaction succeeded. If we scroll down, we should see the option open right here. On portfolio as well, open right here. So overall, I think it was a good choice for us to sell a put mainly because we are going to be waiting on the volatility to go up a little bit more. We sold it for a little bit more than we were quoted for, so 378, a little bit more, a couple of cents more. This brings our total portfolio size to 1952. So it will take us maybe 5-ish weeks to get back to all-time highs, if I'm not mistaken, if we still keep getting low IV, meaning that with low IV we get lower premiums weekly. But if IV goes back to the 50s, to the 60s, these 20 premium might be able to be $27, $30 premiums like we were used to a couple of weeks ago. So this might bring us closer to the overall all-time high for the portfolio. So this was a little bit of a shorter stream. If you notice the mess behind me right here, you can see it. All these boxes, all these things, we have a bunch of things going on, just because tomorrow I'll be moving. So next Friday, next stream, you will see a new background. Of course, it won't look as pretty as this one. Not as this one. Of course, it will look prettier than this one right here, but not as pretty as you're used to, because I will have to decorate the whole thing, the whole room. But yeah, tomorrow I'll be moving to another place, and I'll keep you guys updated. But for everything so far, everything should work perfectly fine for another stream next Friday. So next Friday we should be having the stream, no worries. I already set up the internet over there, so there is no reason for us to not have the stream next week. So this was it. I'll keep you guys updated in the Sleep Money Club on our channel on how these options are going. If, for example, we see a high IV spike and we see excuse me, and we see Ethereum dropping in price, I might decide to close a position and flip it to a call side, or just roll it out to a further out of the money option. But we'll see. I'll keep you guys updated. If needed, I'll do another stream here, same hour, probably another day. So thank you so much. I hope you guys take care, and I'll see you guys next Friday for another weekly stream. See you.